Well, joining me to discuss this further is analyst with the Institute for Energy Security, Raymond Nuopo, and Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, Duncan Amo, I believe. Great to have you both on the program. Okay, we don't have Duncan yet, but yes, we have Raymond. There you are. Now, Raymond, why has it become necessary to increase this margin? Tell us.
Okay, thank you very much. We were listening to the CEO of BOSS. He was basically making a case for investments in their pipelines and etc. First of all, the BOSS margin is for expansion and also maintenance and operating costs of the various depots that BOSS operate. However, for some few years now, BOSS have been effective in terms of their mandate, that's keeping strategic stock. During the last administration of government, BOSS was lifting crude oil, and people thought that that would be a new era where BOSS will go into full operation. However, down the years, BOSS have not been able to keep strategic reserve. Many were even calling for BOSS to keep strategic reserve during the falling prices of crude oil on the international market, because most countries were keeping strategic reserve because products were very cheap on the market, but we couldn't get anything from BOSS. You understand? And now there is this thing in the energy industry which I call illogical sequencing of policy. Now prices are going up. This is the time that they're introducing the BOSS margin. Many will have thought that the time that prices were coming down, that's why they have to put in this margin if they want to use it to do the expansion work, also maintenance on their pipelines. But now that prices are going up on the international market, and which will definitely go up on the local markets, you're also adding your another 3 pesos to what is already going up. It will burden the consumer. Note that the throttle drivers are supposed to take less number of passengers at this moment. So if you are adding more to what they are already paying, it makes the directive from the president very difficult for them to obey. Those are some of the things you must look at when we tell you want to implement policies in the energy sector.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think I read a document this morning that suggested that the IES backed the increment of the BOSS margin. Correct me if I'm wrong on this one. Plus, how significant will a 3 peso increment be in turning around the fortunes of BOSS? You had the CEO, Edwin Provençal, talk about the challenges his outfit is facing at this moment.
Okay, so the oil industry is a margin business. So 3 pesos is significant if you look at the multiplier effect. So if you go to the pumps, look the number of Ghanaians that go to the pumps in a day, you multiply the 3 pesos by that number, that's very huge. Also, on talking about IES backing the BOSS margin, I think if you can contextualize the conversation, it will be better, because we always believe in BOSS working and BOSS having necessary investment for them to keep our strategic reserve. In that regard, that's where we ask them that they should get effective with their operations, and if the needed investment are supposed to increase their operations and let them become effective, then the 3 pesos could be a good idea.
So in effect, are you saying then that the timing for this is wrong, looking at the present predicaments of, let's say transport owners, the fact that, we've seen the oil market dilly-dally around this time?
So that's what I call the illogical sequencing of policies, because I believe when prices were coming down, that's the right time for them to kick in this margin. But now that prices are rolling up and still throttle drivers are supposed to keep the distancing, it's at this moment very difficult for them. And now that we predicted that prices are supposed to go up 5 to 7% because of the increment in prices on the world market. If you look at Brent crude, we see that it went up by 23.25% last window. Look at refined products like petrol and diesel, it also went up by 41.80 and 22.68. These are significant, and the city is not doing well against the dollar. This all affects how prices go up on the local markets.
Okay, and you price increment, yes, I remember the last time I spoke with you on this program, you said that the prices were going to go up further this week. And so I'm just wondering, because we're also wondering if the OMCs were going to absorb the prices, looking at the present predicament, again, that we are in. Prices are going to go up, certainly, you think?
Definitely, it's going to go up. That one is going to go up. It's a must. You know, one thing about the OMCs that is not being escalated is that during the lockdown, they face a lot of challenges. You know, during the lockdown, a lot of people are in the house. They couldn't go up to go and buy a lot of the product they have. But mandatorily, they have to pay taxes to GRE, and they continue to do that. A lot of them are facing, a lot of them are mostly on the road of bankruptcy because they have to borrow to pay taxes. You understand?
Okay. Thank you, Raymond Nwoko, for your thoughts this afternoon. It's always a pleasure to have you on the marketplace. Let's bring in Duncan Amma, who is Executive Secretary of the Chamber for Petroleum Consumers Ghana, for a perspective from consumers. Duncan, great to have you on the program. So you also have backed the increment of the boss margin. Now we have it, but is it right timing?
Let me say good afternoon to you, good afternoon to viewers. There wouldn't be a right and wrong timing. What we have been made aware is that Boss is currently in dire straits. They would need some investment and some capital injection in order that they bring their operations up to some optimal efficiency point. And so per our checks, we did some field, work with them, did some visit to some of their depots. You could clearly tell that Boss would need the support of Ghanaians. What we are, however, looking out for is whether Boss would indeed apply these funds that Ghanaians continue to contribute to what it had said it needed the monies for. And so for the next 3 months, 6 months, we would all be keeping an eye on there just to see how efficient they are becoming, what their turnaround times have been reduced to, how long it takes to load, how long it takes for a truck to get out of, a depot, and how safe it even is, how much of an investment they make into LPG tankage and all of that.
Right.
And so we'll be keeping an eye, but indeed, they do have a genuine need for institutional investments, and this I do think Ghanaians would probably understand and bear with them. But except that, if we do get back to the old ways where you wake up and it's one bad news after the other coming from the same entity, then they should be quite minded that some of us would also be willing to go out there to kick against Ghanaians putting money into what you will call a bigger ocean that will only consume and not give you the kind of results you want. Okay.
Thank you so much for your thoughts this afternoon. Duncan Amma is Executive Secretary of the Chamber for Petroleum Consumers Ghana. Now you're watching The Marketplace. We are taking a short break. We'll be right back.